this dress, though I'm making mine as a top. That's why I have a top pattern here. You notice that my pattern has a circle. The circle is the position or the size of my bust on the pattern because I'm making for myself. So this is it. Now the first thing I'm going to do now is, as I zoom it, you will notice that there's a band at the waist. It's actually a contour waistband. So to cut, I'm going to have to go from here. This is the bust. This is very good because this shows you where the bust is, you know. So I'm going from here. I'm going this way. Coming this way. I'm going right under the bust. Then going this way, going this way, going this way, going this way, ending here. So as I get that, the next thing that I'm going to do now is I'm marking this other way. And my band is quite wide. This is the waist, so I'm coming down, like I think I'm taking 5 inch. The person wearing this, it's a model. They are usually very tall, so her middle, of course, is going to be long because she's a model. That's why it's that wide. Me, I'm not that long, so this is the most that I can take. If I take more than this, it's not going to be flattering on me. So I'm just going to do a line here. Actually, a straight line there. My line I took from here, I have about 5 inch. Then down my waistline, I actually went down 2 inches. And that's about that. So I'm cutting this, then I'm cutting this just below. You know, I'm keeping this aside for now. Then this part of my waist, I have this part of my, if you notice, this is the line, so I'm matching it up to cut, you know. So I'm just matching it up to cut. So I'm doing a straight line here and a straight line here. I'm cutting, this is the back part of my band. Very important. I'm cutting. So I'm keeping all this aside now. So we'll be looking at the under bust. We'll be looking at the neck of this first before we now go to the under bust. So I'm actually trying to see how I can actually match this, because this was actually sort of duplicated, you know. I think this is a better placement. So we're looking at our neck now. See where I am now. So because of the way the sleeve is sitting on the shoulder, I need to go in here a bit. These are my pattern weights. I use them to hold my pattern down. So I need to go in a bit. So what I'm going to do now is to mark from this tip. I just mark 1 inch. This other side I mark 1 inch. So this is just going to allow my armhole, my sleeve sits more perfectly. So I'm just going to rule. I rule this same way, and then I cut it out. I'm going to cut it out now. Then before that, let's look at the neck. The neck, I need to, if you look at the shoulder of that and the band isn't very much. So I'm going to do here like this, rule all the way. I'm going to now be left with this. I don't want a neck that's too wide. So what is my guide? I've removed this already. What I have here is like 2.5 inch. So if you use your tape to measure that you have 2.5 inch, what you do is you mark it to this other side too. So I have my 2.5 inch mark. Then I'm looking at my neck now. The neck is something like this, and it came down in between this place. So now, part of the beauty of this is that because I have this mark, I know that if I go beyond this point, my bust is going to show. I don't want that, so I'm stopping somewhere here. I know that as I'm there, I'm actually sort of covered. I bend like this and I curve. See where my curve is now. Though that one came down up to this point. I don't want a neck that deep. Let me just come down a little bit more. I'm just coming down and stop here. This is like in between my bust. So the piece I have is going to be from here to here. That one was smaller, but this is what I want. So this is my neck now. This I'm going to sort of remove. This is that. These are contouring lines. I don't know. Just ignore that if you don't understand what that is. But this is how I pattern. It sort of gives me a beautiful fit. So I'm cutting this out now. I've cut the neck. I actually cut the back. I went down another one in, so my back is like not too deep. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take out my this my pattern now. So to do that, this pattern I have two of it. I have another one duplicated because I'm going to have two inside. The inner one will be the lining that will hold everything together. I can't do this one. The only time you can do this one is if your fabric is stretchy. But if you're using Ankara, any of this fabric, in fact, if you do two, the fit is better, to be frank. So what I'm going to do now is to mark, is to actually transfer my dart. So this is the center of my bust, my center front. So I'm doing a mark here. I'm doing it exactly at this center now. So I'm going to now cut. I'm taking out this dart. I'm taking out this dart. So this dart is actually for my neckline gape. So I'm taking all my darts out now. I'm bringing them this way. So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do is cut this place open. I'm cutting here open, and then I'm cutting here. This is actually the actual line. So I have cut. I'm just going to use it to close here. I put my sellotape. I'm now going to do the same thing here. Just making sure that I take out all that. I'm putting it here. I'll put it there. And then I close it. Then I'm just going to close this particular one now. So I've done that. I'm just going to close this particular dart now. As I cut it, I just use it to layer it. And then I put. Now, having done this, look at how I am. So everything is transferred this way now. These parts that are not matching up, I'm just going to use paper and fill it up. You know, that's just basically what I'm going to do. Fill this part that was up and all that. So I'm going to sort of do a little bit of filling here. If you notice, I have opening there that's sort of a bit open. So it's just I'm just going to fill that particular part up because there's a gap there. So if you notice there's a gap, you sort of use your thing to fill it. This is the power of pattern making. So I'm good now. This is my outer one. Then this is my outer one. Then you're going to notice that at the tip of that, there's a little piece, like half half inch here. So I should have done this before cutting it out, but I didn't. So I'm going to have to add half inch from here to here, half inch from here to here. That's the middle for me. I don't know, or maybe let me add from here to here, from here to here. I don't want it too. So I'm just using a piece of paper to add 1 inch there. I'm adding. So what I actually have here will be half inch because it's half inch. That's the middle of the dress. You see that's what I've added now. So I think, yeah, I think I'm actually good. Okay, this is it now. So in sewing it, by the time I close this, my bust is going to come, but then I need an inner, like I said before. So this is the second part, the same pattern. So I'm going to now use it to do the second part, but what I'm going to do now is to put it like this and take out my neck, you know. So I'm going to just take out my neck now. So I'm using this to mark it because I need the two of them to be exactly equal. Now I'm having this because this already came. You remember all we did? Remember we took off 1 inch here. I'm marking that 1 inch here. This is the shoulder, and we'll now cut off the rest of the leg. So to get exactly that shape, I'm going to now sort of mark this. I now have to return this to have that. I'm supposed to have done this before. Okay, let me do like this because if I do that way, I'm not going to get it very accurate. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm taking out the same thing, 1 inch for my shoulder, what I offer my shoulder, 2.5, everything that you did. This is the inner pattern now. So what I'm doing here is that I'm taking out this one. So it's going to sort of be it will sort of be like a normal princess bust cut. So I'm adding this now for in between, the same thing that I added, because I want it to match the inner one. I think I'm sort of stopping here. I don't want it to be too big. So having stopped there, I'm going to sort of go in a bit, take this out a bit. I don't want this to be too wide. So this is where I am now. So I'm cutting this out. This is the lining now. So I'm taking this out. Then you will now ask, what if you don't have all this line? All these things that I'm doing now, all these things are sort of going to give it that beautiful fit, you know. So when a dress is fitted to the body, but if you don't know how to do this, you can just do your normal bust cuts that we usually do. But this is how I do mine. So as I cut, this is what I have. Then I'm just going to tighten my under bust a little bit more. Tighten this other side, and I'm good with this one. Then my back now, I'm just cutting out my dart. So this is the fabric that I'm going to use to do. This is, I I think I want to use this because I sort of need this color of top. So I'm just going to cut it. The down, I'm going to do the down a little bit of sleeve. I'm not going to, oh no, I'm going to, yeah, let me gather the down. So let me gather the down. Now, if I want to gather that down, what will I do? This is the back part. This is the dart of the back. This is the front. So what I'm going to do now is to take out that. So I'm cutting out this dart and then closing it. I'm doing the same thing here so that this now becomes a band. So I'm cutting like this, and then I'm taking this, I'm placing it this way. I'm doing the same thing here, and I'm sealing it with a sellotape, and that's basically it. Yes, so sellotape is part of our tailoring too. Here, this is how I pattern all my clothes. The result is amazing. So I'm going to do the same thing to this now, and then I'll fix my band. Wait, see my dart is straight. Okay, this is the peplum now. So what I did, I slashed and spread. So the in between now is my gathers. I'm doing the same thing for the back. So I'm just going to use paper now and fill the space, you know. So I've filled it in. See what it looks like. So this is we've joined it down. See how the top looks like. Um, this is the top. I don't know. I've actually joined. I want to show how what this looks like. I've not fixed zip or anything, but see what it looks like. I think I can't wait to put sleeve and see how it's, you know, like it will usually look better on a human body.